Hello everybody, I'm New to Lane, Jamie Powell back for another video today, and today I want to talk to you guys about my top 10 horror films of 2023. Now it may come to a bit of a surprise to you, I was writing down my top 10 films of the year so far, and there's not one single horror film that's made it to the top 10. There's obviously 10 films that I like more that isn't horror that's made it to the top 10 list. So this is my top horror films for this year, 2023. And at number 10 is Scream 6. And this wasn't perhaps the best film of the list by far, but I actually quite enjoyed it for what it was. It's a bit unbelievable. Some guy gets stabbed like 20 bloody times and he still survives for some stupid reason. But the film itself, I like the fact it's set in New York. It's nice to see some of the old characters come back. And I thought the story overall was entertaining enough for the whole runtime. Could have been a little shorter, maybe a bit predictable, but I liked it for what it was. Number 9 is Exorcist Believer, the film that everybody hates and shat on, but I actually quite enjoyed it. It's not as good as the original one, but it's still an entertaining story. It slowly builds like the original, and there's some good little moments here and there. It's not really scary, but I like the story, and overall I found it very satisfying. A nice sort of horror film for this year in my opinion, but it ain't for anybody. Number 8, actual horror film that did scare me this year was Hell House, Carmichael House. Not everybody found it scary. My good friend Lisa Loves, she liked it, but she said wasn't scared about it at all. I actually found it quite scary. There's a couple of moments in it where it just took me by surprise, especially with these clowns at the end of the bed and a girl doing this down a corridor. I know it sounds silly, but when you watch it, it's actually really genuinely creepy, and there were some really tense moments. I really did enjoy this film. I think it's got a lot going for it, and yeah, definitely for me the scariest film I saw this year. And at number 7 is Thanksgiving. Now, I did enjoy this film. I thought it was really good. Eli Roth does this thing which was done from, what's it called, Grindhouse. It was like a double bill with some fake trailers, and one of the fake trailers was Thanksgiving. And this obviously takes place in Thanksgiving time over in America, and and yeah, the shit hits the fan. It's quite good. It's like an old 90s slasher film. Really enjoyed it. There's some very funny bits in it, and some very good gory bits in it. I expected a little bit more from it, but overall I think it's one of the better films we've had for a while, especially in the slasher range. So yeah, good film and great villain, and it was just a bit predictable of who the villain was. I guessed it pretty quick, but yeah, good film. Number 6 is The Pope's Exorcist with Russell Crowe. Now this was a real surprise. Saw the trailer, thought, I'm sure it's all right. Then I heard word of mouth that it was actually really good. So I watched it, and I have to say, this was a really good little film. I enjoyed it from start to finish, and the main reason is because of Russell Crowe. He is really good in this part. He is fantastic, and I really liked his character. The story itself is, we've been there before, but it was good, and it was well handled, and it was well paced. Good story, some creepy bits here and there, but overall it was Russell Crowe that saved this film. It was very entertaining. Number 5 is Evil Dead Rise, and a lot of people have been split about on this one. Some say it's a load of rubbish and it's just copying the first film but set in a tower block, and in a way it kind of is. But there are other people like me who actually like it despite that. I actually really enjoyed this film. I thought it was very well done. I think there needed to be a bit more gore. I think there needed a bit more exploring around the building. That would have been good, like going up and down the stairs and on the roof and stuff. They could have done a lot more with the location, but I thought it was good overall. Really enjoyed it, and it was really great to experience it with all my friends on the Brighton trip. It was really great. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, it's definitely one of the best films in the horror department for me this year. Number 4 is No One Will Save You. Now this is like a home invasion movie with aliens. A young girl gets attacked one night in a house, and that's what I'm going to say. It's a really good film. There's hardly any dialogue, and it's a really well made film. Very fast paced, very interesting idea of the character, and there's a lot of backstory to her, so you get a bit of development with her character. But it's a really good film, really creepy, and a lot of people are split on the ending. Personally, I think the ending is so different to what you expect that I love the fact they were brave enough to do that, and it was different, and yet it was also quite creepy. It's like a bittersweet ending. I don't want to talk about the ending in case you haven't seen it, but I really thought the ending was great. It's not one of those big full-on scary tense endings. It's more subtle, and sometimes that works better and it stands out more in the crowd. Number 3 is Talk to Me, and this was a very unique horror film made by YouTubers. This was a really good film, a great story. It's basically like a Ouija board but in the shape of a hand. Basically you touch the hand and you can contact the dead basically, and this girl does it for far too long. It all goes wrong, of course, and shit hits the fan, and like it always does in these horror films. But it's very well directed. It's a very good story. I like the characters. It's got some very creepy moments. The imagery is brilliant, and I thought the whole concept was great. The ending is it leaves you more to imagination. I really think this is a very polished horror film. Again, horror films are very difficult to get everybody on board. You know, it's very split down the middle for most. In fact, probably a lot of you watching this video into horror thinking, I thought that was shit. But that's fine, you know, we're all different, we're all entitled to have a different opinion. But my opinion was, Talk to Me was one of the very best horror films of this year. Number 2 is Never Hike Alone 2. Now, this is a fan-made film, but it's a horror film, and it's about 45 minutes. I don't care, it's classed as a film, and it's on YouTube, and I highly recommend it, but watch the first one first, obviously. This was such a great Friday the 13th fan-made film. Very good directing and production. Jason was awesome in it. I love these movies, and I really do hope we get like a whole director's cut of everything put together. That would be amazing. But honestly, considering this is low budget and everything, this was fantastic. It's one of the very best horror films, and it's probably the very best fan-made movie ever. So what is my number 1 horror film for 2023? It's been a good year for horror films, and I think this one was the one I enjoyed the most, and that is Cobweb. And this was such a great film. I loved it from start to finish. And it's basically the story about this young lad. He can hear something in the walls, but his mother and father are saying, you've got a very wild imagination, there's nothing there. But the boy can hear something, and it gets creepy, and it gets funny, and it gets twisty, and I just loved the way the story progressed. The acting from all the cast is great, and it's got a good ending. I really think this is the best horror film of the year, and not everybody has seen it, and not everybody will have the same opinion, but it's personally my top horror film of 2023, Cobweb. And there we go. So that's my list then. That's my top 10. Tell me in the comments what's your favourite 3 horror films of the year. You don't have to give me a top 10 unless you want to. I'd love to hear from you guys. And but thank you for watching this one. There'll be more videos coming soon. Please like, share and subscribe. Stay safe, play safe. And the top 10 films of 2023 will be dropping on New Year's Eve in the evening. So fantastic. Look forward to that. But anyway guys, thanks for watching this one. Take care and bye for now.